Talk to the hand because the face ain't listening.
Take that away from him.
It's the Destiny 2
I
fidget
know it's
spinner.
the Destiny 2 fidget spinner, but take that away from him.
No, why?
It's gonna make some noise.
It's not gonna make that.
Because there's literally
to.
GIFs made of you playing with those stating, "I've hypnotized myself."
No, there's not.
There is. You want me to pull them up sometime?
Yes. I
do.
really want to see those.
Wow.
And then there's a whole on our Discord. There's an entire thread they have of them making GIFs of us from these podcasts.
Cool.
Wow.
And one of them is you going.
I hypnotized myself. I believe that.
So anyway, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Eligible Monster Discussion.
Yes.
The not RNBE show.
Yeah, not the RBE
The
show.
not
This is
discussion.
our discussion show. Everyone knows Destiny 2 came out. Everyone knows Destiny 1's problems, things people enjoyed, things like that. Rob and I are big Destiny fans. Rob played it well past the original raid. I played it up to the original raid and then kind of stopped. Natalie stopped playing it after every story element. And the three of us have now run through the main Destiny 2 storyline and participated in a couple of the Endgame activities just to kind of get a general idea of what Endgame is like in Destiny 2 so that we can properly talk about it if we feel it's a proper $60 purchase. And because we've been streaming this on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/eligiblemonsters, not plugging that at all. But we've been streaming it on our Twitch channel, and almost, I'd say, at least once every 10 minutes, we get somebody that comes in and goes,
Is it
hey,
worth it?
Is it worth it? I didn't like Destiny 1. So we're making a video about that.
Yeah, we are.
Let me tell you.
We're going to fall in line with all the other Destiny 2 videos called Is Destiny 2 Worth Buying? Or 5 Things You Need to Know, or any of those list videos.
We could call this one the sexiest boobs in Destiny, and it'll get tons of clicks.
Yeah, it'll get demonetized super fast. But yeah. YouTube hates, never mind. All right, go ahead.
So let's kick it off at the beginning then, because the primary thing that a lot of people's biggest complaints of Destiny 1 was the story was shit.
Everything.
Complete
Oh.
and
Yeah.
total.
Sorry.
Natalie, in case you hadn't
I'm
figured out this
sorry.
morning, doesn't like Destiny.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, the story was non-existent, and it wasn't. We didn't have a story until Taken King, basically.
Yeah,
that was
pretty
when
much.
everyone was like, "Oh, the story is actually worth it in Destiny."
and that
2.
story was 4 hours long.
She's just gonna take stabs.
I'm
though.
sorry. I have to make
That
sure
game
that
was
people
trash.
know that people know that this DLC, The Taken King, was cool, but it lasted for 4 hours. That's it.
Oh, they knew because a lot of them played it when it came out.
Sure, but some people might not have played it because they're like, "Is Destiny 2 worth it?" Because I haven't played the first one.
Taken King was definitely more cosmetic than it was actually adding anything worthwhile to the story or to the actual story itself.
We got a new zone. That was cool.
Well, that being said, what they added cosmetically was actually pretty cool.
But,
I didn't
we're
like
not
the
talking
Taken
about that
King
right now.
one.
We're talking about Destiny 2, Rob.
Yeah, we're talking about Destiny 2. Yeah.
I'm not going to let you go on a 5-minute tangent about the Taken King. So anyway,
It's not worth it anyway. So
we're really. I can't even move to
I'm
Destiny 2
sorry.
without
I'm sorry. Just
Wow.
go. Just go. Just move
Okay,
on.
so anyway, Destiny 2, we played, 4 nights in a row? I think it was 2 to 3 hours per night.
Yeah, that was you guys.
Well, I'm saying, I'm trying to figure that out, because you just went,
about.
Rock
Yeah,
got
I
sick
went nuts.
and just went ham.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how long the main story was, though. It was probably, I'd say, 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, I mean, if you play it conservative, if you don't dedicate a ton of time to it, you come home, you play it for 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, it would probably take you about 5 days, maybe.
Yeah,
A little
it's
bit
like
longer
it was about 3 or 4 or 5 days, and I had to go back a little bit to help other people level up.
Yeah.
Somehow I got way ahead of everyone in leveling. I don't even know how
It's
I did
very
that.
easy to level up. Yeah.
It is. It's super easy to level up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would say about 8 to 10 hours to the storyline. Now, I'll go ahead and say for me, story is a lot of things what draws me into a game.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Destiny 2 storyline. I thought it was incredible. I thought we had character development and things established that should have been here since the beginning. We have 2 years of Destiny, and I feel like I just learned things about the Destiny universe I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about things like, oh yeah, well that was a new character in this. No, I'm talking like just in general stuff about the Traveler, the Speaker, the way the characters are handled, Zavala and Cade 6, and I can't remember the other girl's name, but the three of their relationship together.
Akora Ray.
Right, and this is stuff that I'm talking about that I feel we should have known in the first 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, the campaign was definitely Cabal-centric. And that led me to believe that they're going to have 2 more installments. And the next one will be like Vex, and the next one will be like...
Well, no, they've already
Farm,
announced
and
3 of them. There's 3 expansions.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like the next games are going to do. Because as far as I know, all they're going to do is expand on the existing story. I mean,
Right.
unless they're going to add more to the story, which would be kind of cool. In which case they could just, because like I said, I mean, it definitely felt like a Cabal game. It felt like Destiny 2, the Cabal. That's exactly what it felt like.
But did you enjoy it? Would you say that this story makes you actually want to play Destiny?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the greatest story I ever played. it was interesting insofar as
Natalie's over here like locked and loaded, ready to go.
I mean,
Don't
insofar
worry.
as it just being like a game where you go and I mean, it's a rinse repeat game. It's go here, fight these enemies, and then go to the next stage.
Well, that's
Like,
every game in existence, I think.
Yeah, but this one kind of it's. But even
You
then,
just
like,
felt the repetition.
yeah,
of this
it was
one.
super
Okay.
repetitive. Yeah, it's the same format, but just different backdrops. So,
Okay. Now, how did you feel about that? Because you're our biggest detractor from the Destiny franchise as a whole.
yeah.
Yeah, you've played them all, but you just
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, as if you compare Destiny 1 story to Destiny 2 story,
Yeah.
of course it's worth playing. It's better, right? They made it better this time around.
they actually
But-
had a story.
yeah, they did. And but is it better in general?
Like,
I
would the
mean,
Destiny 2 story be worth you picking the game up? Let's say you're the type of person who's never going to do any endgame. You're not going to play this like an MMO. You're not going to farm up shards or anything like that. You are going to play the story and then put it down until the next expansion comes out. Would you buy this title?
Oh, dude, not a chance.
No?
No.
Absolutely not.
Unless you stick around because it's an MMO after all.
Right, but that's what I'm
So-
saying. Because like when we play, I mean, and this is a little biased because I'm a huge fan of 14, but 14 storyline when you were going through
Maybe-
it,
I
if
mean-
you like a Final Fantasy storyline, was very Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
and it was almost worth the purchase in
And
itself.
I've been
Yeah.
thinking about that. Maybe it's because we're just used to to playing MMOs in general.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason why I just couldn't get into Destiny because it's another MMO.
Possibly,
I don't
I mean
know.
that could be the case. But you were saying that the story itself is not merit enough to buy that game.
No, because none of the
No.
characters are fleshed out. Like they relied on
Yeah.
it, like for the Vanguard folks. So like the one guy who's the Titan, and then Nathan Fillion, and then the black chick. Like we know. I don't remember. Yeah,
Kate
it's
Six,
Ray.
Zavala, and
there we
Akora
go.
Ray, but
Zavala,
hey,
yeah.
whatever.
So anyway, so like I mean, we knew who they were, but like
Yeah.
the main villain was a guy that we knew almost nothing about, who somehow or another was trained to be like the head guy of the Cabal or whatever. He was like the chosen one, but we don't really even know what that means. He's obsessed with the Traveler's Light, and he thinks he should be the one to have it, and that's it. Like, I mean, I would love to have seen like background on him. Like give me that guy's whole story. Like, give me the
Maybe
inner
like we find
workings.
data pads as we're going through Red Legion stuff, and
Yeah,
it explains
give me-
who Gaul
exactly.
is, or at least more about Gaul.
That whole thing, like, how did he rise through the ranks? Give me like give me the story of like how the Cabal came and where they come from. Give me all that kind of stuff, because it's really like this was more of an expansion to like what we already knew about the Cabal in terms of just the story.
Right.
Like it was basically just one giant quest that added
Personally-
on to existing knowledge.
Personally, I didn't care about anybody else but Kate Six. I mean, I thought he made the actual
Okay,
game.
Yeah.
Cade Six
He
did
did.
it, and I love.
As-
And this is
sorry,
a great
but-
comment on our Twitch chat that came across.
Yeah.
Where someone was like, "Cade Six is the Deadpool of
yeah.
Destiny."
He is.
Yeah.
He really
I'm like,
is.
he
Yeah.
100% is.
Nathan Fillion is hilarious. Like I always loved his comments.
Yeah.
It was always
It's really
funny.
My
to me.
favorite comment, and I remember this, and I'm not going to spoil where it happens or what's going on, but they're like, Cade, we need you to turn such and such on. And Cade's like, well, it's a little problem right now. They just blew my arm off, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
one point where they were complaining about traps, and he was like, alternatively, you just not trigger the traps. It was something along those lines.
Yeah. No, Cade 6 is great. Nathan Fillion like makes that game for me. Just make the next few expansions just, well, we're teaming up with Cade 6.
Yeah. Now, having said that, what the story lacks, I think the rest of the game really fleshes out well.
Well, which leads us to the next discussion point for this. This doesn't have to be a long video, although it's probably going to be, knowing us. Okay, so the game's completed. You're done.
Yes.
You've done various missions. You've done various dungeons. Now it's time to play the MMO portion of the game. And in the terms of what many MMO players like to say, the real game begins.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do not feel like Destiny 2 was designed for the person that plays games 16 hours a day.
Oh, it's
I
not.
feel
No,
like-
yeah.
No, I feel
MMOs
like-
in general haven't been for a while.
Yes.
I can get on Final Fantasy 14, and I'd say Final Fantasy 14 and WoW are probably the last bastions of your true theme park MMO. And you give me 3 hours and I'm done. Like, I'm done
Yeah.
for the day. I've run everything I could possibly do.
That's all you need nowadays. Though.
Yeah, and I feel like Destiny's been geared up the same way. It's intended for you to just hop on for a couple hours a night and play your game, and
Yeah.
and you just accomplish everything.
Yeah.
That's what I told you in the car, because we first got you beat us all to Endgame.
Yeah.
You were there like days before any of us, gearing up your stuff. You're like, man, it's getting really repetitive. I'm running the same strikes. I'm running the same. For those of you guys who don't know, a strike is basically the equivalent of a dungeon and other MMOs.
No,
No, it's a dungeon. It takes us 20 minutes to run a dungeon in Final Fantasy or one in WoW. It took us 20 minutes to
it's
just
true.
run that
I
strike.
suppose,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a bullet sponge boss either.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there were
you
no
were saying
mechanics
that.
at all. Like this is what is annoying me the most about Endgame. It's not challenging. It's just the same. They're
Well,
just
okay.
throwing enemies at you. That's all they do. There's no mechanics. There's nothing that you have to learn or learn to expect or anything. It's just like, well,
I learned to not walk backwards off of the platform.
of course, then.
Well, no, that's
And then did it 3 more times.
the basis of Destiny is to literally be just like a pick up and run shooter.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of Destiny is like anybody can pick it up and then run it, which is cool. I mean, that's how COD found its success. So I mean, with the whole thing of like the end game story, like I said, like the strikes are kind of like mini raids, which are cool. But then once you've played every strike like 2 or 3 times, and you're just like, okay, this is kind of boring. That's where I think like the adventures come in, and the adventures are basically just reskinned like missions that you find on.
Now, this is something I wanted to ask you, because we did a few and they went away.
Yeah.
Do they refresh? Or is,
Yeah, I
there,
believe so.
is there a finite number of them?
No, I think they refresh during the weekly reset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the record, we have no confirmation on that because the first weekly reset is tomorrow.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
so-
so we're not going to discuss much about that. I do agree with you that the side quests are a lot of fun. The adventures are a lot of fun. But we're not gonna no confirmation. This is not confirmation. Everyone goes in the comments. Rob's wrong.
Rob's wrong, yeah. Well, he said it, so it must be confirmed.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't even had the first weekly reset.
Or
yet.
someone
Yeah.
comments a year from now and they're like, "You were wrong." Well, you were wrong.
The cool thing is that the way they're releasing content's pretty effective too. Like week 2, or no, what is it?
Week 2.
It's
Yeah,
not-
week 2 we're getting the raid.
Week 2 we're getting a raid, and we get Zor. Like, oh, the Nightfall is insanely fun. That's the Nightfall. I think is like the
Now
one
wait,
thing.
does the Nightfall just funnel guys at you like what Natalie and I just did?
Yeah,
Or-
that's exactly. But it adds these different dynamics. So like the current Nightfall, it cycles between Solar, Void, and Arc. So like as you run through, the whole point is you have 10 minutes to complete it if you want, the whole thing. And then like as you kill enemies, it adds time onto it. But if it says Arc emerges from the inside or something like that, there's some little text that tells you what whether it's Arc, Solar, or Void. But if it's like Arc damage and you use Void, like it'll give you a penalty. There's damage penalties, different things like that. So
That's
like
slightly
it's
better.
one of those things where you have to like rotate. So you have to have like 1 Solar, like 1 Void, and then 1 Arc on your fire team. But even then, like getting to the boss can be super difficult. The fact that that at least at the moment right now, I haven't played with any weapons that are like the Galahorn that are just game breakingly good.
Yeah.
There are some out there that are super good.
I like my pistol.
Dude, the Foggy Notion is a crazy good SMG. But there's a few here and there where the guns are great. But in terms of balance, it actually works in terms of the multiplayer. The one downside that I have is that Super's recharge, I feel like way too slow. Like that kind of just takes away.
I mean, I used the golden gun, so I was like, "Oh, it's finally up after 10 minutes, and I get 5 shots, and now it's gone."
It's
That's
true.
exactly it. It
Yeah.
was. I
This is
think
why
it was
I
like a
switched.
4-minute timer. I believe that like if you went in, because I think people started testing it just randomly, but like you spawn into the world map or whatever it is, and you sit there within 4 minutes, you'll have your ultimate. I don't believe that's the case in Destiny 2. I want to say it's like 5 or 6.
Oh.
Okay.
Which I mean, a minute, it's not that big of a difference. But when you're in the middle of a strike, 5 minutes can be a huge amount of time.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so we've done the strikes, and you said the biggest problem with the strikes is that it just felt like we were just running forward, no challenges, no game-breaking mechanics.
Right.
He's explained the Nightfall. The Nightfall is 260 item level?
240.
240?
But
Okay.
just because it says it's 240 doesn't mean like it's. I mean, I had 260 and I was struggling with it. So,
No, I know, but I'm
or,
like, we can't
250
even get
rather.
into it till 240.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is Natalie and I can't run the Nightfall yet, that's why we
Oh,
haven't
I mean,
done
no,
it.
you can, but like you'll get decimated. If you do, you'll hardly do any damage on the guy.
Oh, sweet, let's go do that right after this. And cut to a clip of us rage quitting out of the game.
Yeah, this game sucks.
So, okay, well, then that leads me to our next question, because at this point in the life of Destiny, you're now at the point where it's run the strikes, which are their dungeons, over and over and over, run the Nightfall, which is a nice challenge to throw into there, and do the raid.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's... Now, and Natalie and I have only done 1 strike, so we can't answer this question. I liked the 1 strike I did. I don't know if I'd want to do it 20 times. How do you feel about having had to run the strike, however many times you've had it because you were sick and you just spammed it?
I mean, yeah, I would do like.
Do you feel like there's enough variation in each of the strikes?
No.
So that they're all the same thing, basically.
They all feel the same. I mean, the bosses are different, and the strikes are kind of cool because they're like mini raids. But like the strike, okay, so the strike we played during the beta, all right, that's basically the strikes. There's always the mechanics where you have to navigate around the map in some weird, funky way. There's the swarm of enemies that just come rushing at you. There's the super OP guys, the snipers that won't go away. I mean, there's all that. Like all that is just in every single strike. So I would say honestly, unless you're a person that just wants to like grind all the way and be at like 300 or whatever the max light level is right now, by the time the raid comes out on Wednesday, which if you just started, good luck. I would say that playing like a couple strikes a night is probably really all you need.
Okay.
I mean,
So, but you don't think there's enough variation to really keep you... Matter of fact, a great example is we were just doing the strike. We just did a strike, me, Natalie, and Rob. And halfway in the beginning of the strike, Rob's like, don't know if I did this one. Did I
Yeah.
do this one? And half of the strike was him going, I don't know if I did this one. I may have done this one because they felt so similar. And then we got to the end and you're like, oh no, I ran this one.
Yeah, well, all when we got to the boss with the what's his name that runs around invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like I
They
said,
just feel, what I'm saying is they feel so similar. You
Yeah.
just, you had no idea if this was even one you'd already run yet.
But also at the same time, we have to consider they only have like 5 strikes.
Is there 5?
Yeah,
I
there's
thought
only
there was like 3. I mean,
no,
I
there's
didn't
only
look at the list.
like 5 or 6 or something like that. There's not that many right now. So
Okay.
the game content's still pretty limited.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, that's every MMO though. They'll
Yeah.
come out with a few more strikes. They'll come out with a few more dungeons. The question is, how quickly will they be coming out with this content? If this is the content, this is the problem I have with Destiny 1. If this is the content that is out in 6 months and they have not given you anything new, or other than an expansion coming out, would you find yourself still playing Destiny? Because
No.
you were playing Destiny 1 right up to Destiny 2.
Yeah, but that's because it was I hadn't really played that many games like that. And it was a really great game to like veg out for like 3 hours.
And you had to catch up too, because
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
pretty much
I
picked it
started
up at
late.
the very end.
Yeah.
Taken King, so you had all that content to catch up on. But
Yeah, I had to get caught up with everybody, but I hadn't really played a game like that, so it was so new and so fresh. But playing Destiny 1 and then jumping into Destiny 2, like I would not, for example, go back and start a second character.
Okay.
Like in terms of the story, in terms of the strikes, in terms of what I've seen so far, I would not go start a second character just to like level that character up again.
Okay, and Natalie, other than us forcing you to do it with us on the Twitch streams, which we'll be doing, such
Yes.
as the raid,
Yes.
will you ever find yourself playing Destiny?
absolutely not.
No, okay.
No, I'm serious because as I was going through it, I could just.
No, just the way you
okay,
reacted
listen,
was like an
I'm
inquisition.
sorry. I know. I'm
Natalie,
sorry.
will you find yourself playing? No, I will not. I will never do it. No.
listen to me, because I feel like because I feel like Destiny 2 is just like it should have been a Destiny 1 DLC. Just because I don't feel like the maps were the same reskins essentially. The bosses are still the same. Like if you go through the main story, you'll find that the bosses are the exact same. Nothing has changed.
Wizards that need a fusion
Exactly.
rifle, boss
And that-
fighters
Well,
that,
no, you played a quest, like you played an adventure that was
No.
one of
No.
the old strikes from Destiny 1. I thought you did, like when you were talking about that one giant thing in the middle, and then
There was this guy,
with
but
the
there was
shield
another
around
guy
it.
too.
No, we did
from
a
the
lot of
Taken
different
King.
adventure stuff, yeah. We didn't
we
just
did,
do
we
one.
did everything. Yeah, we did everything.
because
We-
she was the one that was way behind on levels for some reason.
Yeah.
Like somehow I was like 5 ahead of everyone,
Yeah.
and she was like 3 under everyone. And Houston was the one that was the right level. So we ended up running a whole bunch of
Right.
weird shit to try and get her leveled up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We don't know how it all happened out. Like,
Of course, there were new elements,
It was
of
wonky.
course, but it just felt like a DLC for Destiny 1. That's all it was.
I mean, you were complaining about the zones up until that tree zone.
That was the only thing that I just do not recall that I've seen from Destiny 1. It was
Because
just
I mean, EDZ
same
looked like
platform
the
thing,
EDZ
but
in the first
yeah.
one. Just
I mean, I didn't think they were
flipped
really.
around.
I didn't think they
Textures were
really
nicer. I'll give it that. The graphics were
Oh
nicer.
my
across the
god!
board.
Don't even get me. No,
Oh,
there was,
okay.
there was
wait,
this one level.
Before we can
Rob,
close out this, the Titan water.
There was this. Listen, I was just
The
looking
Ocean
around,
Titan?
going
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's bad.
yeah, it's like mind
That
blown,
was
right?
bad.
I was just mind blown at just everything that was around us. Then I turn around and I see those waves, and I'm like, what is this? 2000?
Well, okay, but I mean, there are some really great things about Destiny 2 that I really enjoy too. Like one, the shaders. So you can change the shaders on every piece of armor that you have.
But I hate
Isn't
the
that-
fact that you
yeah.
don't get to keep them
Don't-
permanently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something they really need to change because like
That's-
to me that wouldn't give me a reason to keep coming back. If I'm like, hey, look, I lose them every time I use them. Because no, well, see, even the other thing, if you dismantled them and then got them back, that would be
Well,
something.
they
else
actually
too,
have
but that doesn't
a
happen.
tweet from the community manager that stated what we were looking for is people to be like, hey, let's go back to Titan. I really want the Titan shader. And I think it was the No that responded with like, we don't want that.
I mean, I imagine they'll probably. I mean, I wouldn't think that would be a hard patch, and they'll probably end up, issuing a patch with like, okay, once you use it, like you keep. The problem is people, because right now, like you get them like 5 or 6 at a time.
Yeah.
And so people would just have like 1,000 of one shader. But I love the idea that I can basically take a shader if I have enough, because there was one point where I had like 12, and I can change the shading on like my primary, my secondary, my heavy weapon, on my ghost. I can change the shader on every single piece of my suit. I can change the shader on my ship, and I can change the shader on my sparrow, and make them all look uniform. That I think is really cool.
So what you're
Like, that
saying
I really
is
like.
you like to play dress up, essentially.
Are you serious?
I mean, because I've got this great game I can recommend. I'm sorry.
I do want to say one more thing about
I'm
the water
sorry.
and Titan.
I'm
Talk
sorry.
to the hand, because the face ain't listening.
Listen. But at least what Destiny 2 has, because like lack of Endgame content right now. But at least what they have is the emotes. Don't worry, they have plenty of that.
I made
they have
ramen.
plenty of that. Don't
You made
worry.
ramen. I flipped over a table.
Don't worry.
I do want to say one last thing about the Titan Waves before we move on. We close up this episode of our discussion piece. The Titan Waves look so bad that I actually had Houston look up on Wiki what the moon of Saturn, the planet Titan, what actually it's made out of, to actually see, like, is it water or is it supposed to be like a blue goo?
Wow.
We looked it up. What we discovered is that moon, it has a liquid on the surface, but we couldn't find confirmation that it was actually supposed to be water.
Oh my gosh.
So maybe it's a weird blue goo.
My gosh.
Dude, I will say this, like my final thoughts on it, like the main game itself is okay. Like, I mean, it's decent enough. I could play for a little while, depending on how fast they release content. If it is like you said, if it is like Destiny 1, where we get like expansions every few months, I probably stop playing before the first expansion or the second expansion comes out. But I will say this: Crucible is crazy well balanced.
Is
Like,
it?
Oh,
it's
finally?
extremely
We have
well
not
balanced.
gotten to get into it yet,
That's-
because I wanted to ask you the
that's
opinion on
the
that before we
only
did
thing.
final
Crucible.
thoughts.
Okay, so like in the control maps, instead of like going to a control point and then it's like switching over to the flag goes neutral and then you take it, instead you just take it all in one go. So it's just one round of it counting down or whatever. Yeah, it's super balanced. And SMG is a must if you're going to play.
Okay.
Just because a lot of the maps are super close quarters. But like I had a great time playing it. Like it's
So you found a good time with the Crucible. All right.
Yeah, Crucible is a lot more enjoyable in Destiny 2 than it was in Destiny 1.
I'm debating
know
how
that.
much I want to get into Crucible because I do enjoy my competitive shooters, but I'm kind of like an Overwatch guy. I mean,
Well-
Natalie's wearing a Diva jacket right now, so.
Yeah.
The cool thing, the way it's set up now, is you've only got 2 Crucible playlists.
Ah,
So you've got quick play and then you've got competitive. And quick play is just 4v4. And then you've got like whatever game mode they throw you in. So it's like control, it's clash, it's whichever one where you grab the little prism things. It's you don't get to choose which one you go into. I'm sure they'll add that later on. But
I
for
don't
right
know.
now, it's
Games
just
are
quick
going.
play.
We can have a whole other video about that, but games are going in a direction of not giving you choice,
Yeah.
so that you
Yeah.
feel like you have more content when you don't.
Yeah.
I miss the days of Call of Duty giving me 20 goddamn game modes and going, "There's 30,000 players in this one." I'm like, "Yeah."
Capture the
It's
flag,
true.
man. I love
remember
capture
that.
the
So
flag.
Natalie, what are your final thoughts on Destiny 2 then?
I mean, unless there's really absolutely nothing, like no other MMOs that you're playing around or no other games that come out, of course, pick it up if you just want like a quick campaign with friends. I would recommend with friends because if it's by yourself, you're just gonna have a bad time. But
It is a fun game with friends, but I mean,
yeah.
any co-op game.
but
Yeah.
I mean, apart from that, I would just leave it alone, honestly.
Okay. And for me, my final thoughts are quite simple. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to play it until I feel burned out on the strikes, and then I'm just going to wait till the next expansion comes out or the next patch or something new comes out. I'll probably always keep it up to date. I am 100% switching to PC when it comes out, and I'm asking right now, I'm pleading to Bungie, please, if you won't let me transfer the character, just let me buy a cap. I don't want to do your story again. Just let me buy a capped out character. I'll be fine. I'll buy a level 20 warlock and just play with him.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do that.
That's what I
Like,
mean. Like, I would enjoy that.
I wonder if they're going to let people get mods. You know how awesome that would be? See like Mickey Mouse running around.
They will never do that.
like, that'd be
They won't-
so cool,
nah,
though.
I don't see them.
All right,
doing
guys.
that.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion on Destiny 2. I'm sure about 1,000 people are going to go in the comments down below and be like, none of you even fucking played it, but we did, so screw you.
I mean,
the
you can-
gameplay
you
you
can
just
just look
saw
at the
is my
trophies.
point of view on the strike.
Yeah.
Some of my shots were really good, and I walked off of cliffs a lot.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
I just
did.
kept walking backwards off of it.
You died a lot.
That
You gotta be
camera just
careful
went
now.
crazy.
A lot.
Just went crazy?
He just moved it. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. I'm Benny. You can find me at Comic Story, and that is Comics Explained. That is Zodiacal Candy. Together, we make up Eligible Monster. If you're watching this right now, later this week, you're going to find us playing the game Fight of Gods. You're going to be seeing us experiencing some more Destiny, some PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and discussing quite a few more things here at the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time right here.
Peace.
Bye.